both Chandra and me come from a corporate background. Seeing the stresses, seeing the confusion, seeing the issues that we generally have in the corporate world, meditation came in as a silver bullet to most of us. So definitely to me, I used to be a very excessive thinker, and that is where the solutions provided by meditation, the state that meditation gets us in, really helped. And that was really the path to my progress, my advancement within my corporate career at Cognizant. And then subsequently, the last 2 years, I've taken a break, I've taken a sabbatical and been doing full-time service with Pyramid Valley International, been a managing trustee there, while Chandra has been doing this Buddha CEO and helping spread meditation to a lot more people around the globe. And the wonderful part is there is no better person. To me, next to Brahmarshi Patriji, I see Chandra as the most ardent proponent of breath mindfulness meditation. And for both of us, one common thing is, as he mentioned, scientific temperament. To me, if someone tells me, okay, sit in meditation, watch your breath and all magic happens, I'm not the guy who used to take that, digest that. Right? So I used to read a lot of books, I used to experiment. And that was one common thing that attracted us to Brahmarshi Patriji. It was not just based on the foundation of philosophy. It was also based on what happens scientifically to our bodies, our minds, a lot of neuroscience techniques. And then that is what Chandra has packaged it and then covers this in this 40-day session.
Happy morning and happy evening, friends and masters. So welcome to week 4 of this gratitude program. And rightly, our dear master Sagar sir said, most of us, and including me, we connected to the foundation because of the scientific wisdom they bring in behind this breath mindfulness meditation. So all thanks to Chandra sir for that. And friends, we really look forward to interact with you. Please, when it's time for sharing your experience or asking questions, please do raise your hand. You'll have this option down, right? Raise your hand and we'll promote you to panelist and you can share your experience or ask questions. So with that, Chandra sir, please take over. Thank you.
Happy morning, dear friends and masters. Good afternoon, evening. Emotional intelligence is the focus topic for this week. We've come through in 3 weeks, understood in many ways, and then perhaps are experiencing in many ways how meditation is helping us. And one of the first things in that is that awareness about internal state, about our thoughts, about our feelings, about the way that we get that behavior, instinctual responses to people. Many of them we start observing. That awareness is giving us the ability to respond, to change, and then show up differently. Emotional intelligence is the ability for us to manage our emotions, for us to respond to others' emotions in the most appropriate fashion. Manage our emotions, of course, great life. Respond to others' emotions, multiplication of life. You know, in this busy rat race or a busy world where you want to get things done in many, many ways at the shortest possible time, several times you log in after dinner and you notice something not going right. There is some escalation coming up. Then we suddenly start writing emails in that moment. That's part of the moment we write an email, many a times, isn't it? And the tone of the email would be so strong many a times, and also the tone, the content of the email is often about blaming. I went through it several times in my career. You write this email, the first instance you write this email, then something tells you, and then if it didn't tell you, then it goes off, and then so there you go. That is sent all this vibration in the entire team everywhere. Here you go, then we start blaming. Why did you not do this earlier itself? And then how can you be so responsible? Whatever that is. That is a state when we don't have an awareness and emotional intelligence, because it's not going to help anyway at that moment. Instead, many a time, then you pull back and step back. And as personally, I've done this several times. You step back and say, you read the email again and say, what's going to serve you this email? Then you start changing it again. You come back, put it off, go back a little later, and then change that email in a better way. Let's figure this out. Let's figure this out for now. And then later, you pause and then talk about how to improve. That is, that the one who changes that email to a better email is the one who is having great emotional intelligence. That's all it is. Identifying my emotion at that moment, pausing, and then before you respond or before say something to somebody else, then changing it to something more accommodative, something more solution focused. Emotional intelligent people are more solution focused than problem oriented. Emotional intelligence means growth in our life. Intellect brings us that opportunity, and then we get into that opportunity. You have a job, you have an opportunity of making it big. So you started a company, so you've got a great IQ in many, many ways. You speak and you're able to, based on your past experience, you're able to get investment, are able to get that job promotion. You're able to start because someone supported you, a foundation. But if you're not emotionally intelligent, the growth is not there. But the one who grows is emotional intelligence in the ladder. So IQ, the intelligence can get us there, but then growing happens to emotional intelligence, because that's when we are able to take team along, we manage ourselves and take the team along, no matter what the situations are. Daniel Goleman is considered one of the father figures of this whole field of emotional intelligence, highlighted or brought in to corporate world, into the institutional organizational world. He was from Berkeley, and then he has deep interest in subject. Then he found, and he came to India in 70s to learn mindfulness and meditation as the best way to gain their emotional intelligence, develop their emotional intelligence. Mindfulness and meditation are the greatest technologies that are available to master our emotions and to master and then respond beautifully to others' emotions. I'm sure those of you who are there in this program by now understand this. It's not rocket science. One is to know where I am so that I give better response. And second part of emotional intelligence is to connecting with others, called empathy. If we have these two, awareness and empathy, awareness so that I can respond better. In a meeting, there's no point shouting. And an intelligent leader is not shouting in the meetings. Instead, of course, must be bubbling inside the moment something, illogical, irrational is heard, or carelessness is seen. But still, it doesn't really help the meeting. I mean, in rare situations, maybe utilizing their opportunity if you have to express, but then, of course, you choose a response appropriate in a meeting, being silent, being more solution oriented to move forward, right? It's a hurdle that we have to cross at that time in case there is a challenge. Or if you have to express, then the tone is changed. It's called self-expression. The tone is changed in how you express it. Not from a blame perspective, more genuinely caring for others and the organization to grow perspective. The difference in the way you express the tone. So meditation is the greatest technology that enables emotional intelligence, empathy, and then awareness are the properties of consciousness. That's where the quantum physics comes in. Quantum physics terms, what we're understanding is that the observer, everything is energy interconnected, then observer is influencing the reality of the observed. And so then by definition, meditation is helping us to be that observer. Meditation is helping us to change the way we have our vibration. Our vibration is changed through meditation. And so then you're naturally becoming the greatest observer with an emotion that is of high frequency in a way that influences somebody else. And so they change automatically. When I came in to meditation, before that, where I thought about non-cooperating individuals as colleagues in a workplace, when my thoughts changed, when I became more empathetic, automatically start thinking from their perspective, then automatically they start cooperating, they changed. So that's when it became joyful for me to go back into and then be there working. It was not that enjoyable before, but after meditation, as my thoughts changed, as I guess unknowingly influenced their behavior, rather than saying they're not cooperating, these guys keep to themselves and just difficult to work with them, the dialogue changes. The dialogue changes. And so then people change. Emotional intelligence is making us very, very successful. There is a comparison. If you read a book called Psychology of Money, there are some beautiful stories. There is a high-flying financial company executive, and there is a janitor working in some kind of a chain of malls. The high-flying executive, not in control of emotions, makes decisions, emotional reactions, makes decisions as part of the moment. It's called amygdala hijack, where our amygdala, the emotional center, gets hijacked to behave based on certain past triggers, memories. As opposed to an emotional intelligent person, the amygdala, before amygdala hijack comes, where the regular meditation or an emotional intelligent person, where the conscious brain has, or called the prefrontal cortex area, has more control. So it chooses a response than to react. One is working out of an instincts brain called the subconscious mind. That's where we said in the beginning of the week, if you connect, 90% of life events are driven through subconscious behaviors. And so the person who is just out working, acting out of instincts, or the emotional center brain, which is mostly based on a past memories, instantly behaves and makes decisions, irrational decisions. In few years, he went bankrupt. He was the most very, very rich person, very successful. But in a few years, he went bankrupt because as he amassed a fortune, so it became, then many things happened. He was not emotionally connecting, become a little arrogant, because when you become expert, then that arrogance steps in. Stop listening, and you acquire more, than the greed seeps in, and so they don't manage their emotion about one after the other, one after the other. So then you went bankrupt in a very few days, few years. Like the janitor, very has this ability of highest level of control. He took money. It's about investing money and how much that we didn't have control emotions, how we lose our gain. And then here he took control, he had the control of his life in every area. So then he was investing and was known for producing and having $8 million at the time of when he became his body. A janitor with the basic things that are just hardly there to meet your expense. In many, many ways, emotionally intelligent person is connecting very well in managing emotions. So meditation is the technology. We'll understand this week a little scientifically and with a few examples, topics around this intelligence, emotional intelligence, some wisdom that help us to change the way we think and feel about our life, and wisdom that helps us, in the most appropriate ways we can respond to others. Right? We already learned a few. For example, impeccability of words we spoke about in week 2 under a context of energy, but it becomes one of the master techniques of becoming and more emotionally intelligent, the way we speak. In fact, this is the biggest training that we receive through this program, and subsequently the understanding that we receive, so that we become beautiful in the way we express it, and everything starts from there. And so we already are doing it in many ways. It's simply about changing your thought field, changing your word field. Actions follow. Actions follow. So to understand more concepts this week, dear friends, let's go into the practice of meditation once again. We are doing breath mindfulness meditation. The goal of this meditation is to rest the mind and be in this a restful state of the mind for as long as we can. Resting the mind means reducing the thoughts in the mind and going into the emptier states of the mind. Right? And how do we do it? We do this by observing our breath with our eyes closed. When you observe your breath, 1 second, get to the posture. Observing your breath with your eyes closed. And as you see in this picture, sit down comfortably on the floor, on a sofa, on a chair, crossing your feet at ankle, closing your eyes. If you're wearing spectacles, remove them. Your fingers are rested comfortably in your lap, clasped with each other, not keeping on the side on the thighs in a posture that normally you see in pictures, but fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap. And this is the posture. Sit comfortably in the most relaxed posture. Relaxation of the body is very, very important. Sit comfortably. And in this posture, observe your natural breath. Rest your attention on your nose at the beginning of the nose where it starts here, which is in the middle of the eyebrows area by the beginning of the nose, on that, or root of the nose. Your attention there, with your eyes closed, observe your breath at that point, your natural breath. When you observe your natural breath, the way it is as it's going in and coming out, only at that point. Or anywhere in the nose if you prefer, if you're comfortable to sense the breath there. And then you observe the breath, and preferably at the eyebrows, beginning, middle of the eyebrows, right at the root of the nose. Put your attention there at that point. and notice the breath going in and coming out. Just notice it, witness it. Observe the breath, mind becomes slowly, slowly empty. Thoughts are coming down, mind is becoming empty. Go into calm states, be in that state. Slowly, you may experience some sensation, movement in your body. Witness it, observe it, don't change anything of it. You may feel some feelings, you may notice some kind of a vision, dream-like states. Witness all of it, observe all of it. By then you would have forgotten the breath. So be in that experience of what is happening to you involuntarily. In case you have thoughts anytime, and when you notice you have thoughts, bring your attention back to the breath and start all over again. Called breath mindfulness meditation. We're spending maximum time in this process. Welcome to anyone who's joined new today. And you can always go back to day 1 and 2 of this program and listen to the recordings to know a little more understanding of this. And then before we practice this breath mindfulness meditation, which is basically to empty the mind and be in that no mind state for the best possible time, we do a process, an active mind process called heart elevation process. Just follow my guidance for it. The idea of this is to go into a higher emotional state, like a loving emotion, is deep joy, gratitude, compassion, appreciation. Go into a very good emotional state. And then from there, we start and slip into breath mindfulness meditation. Relax yourself, dear friends, with your eyes closed. Remove the spectacles. Relax your body. Dear friends, dear Master, with your specs removed, eyes closed, keep your hands on your chest area. And rest your attention on your sacred heart. With a slow, long, relaxing breath, can you feel your heart center? Feel the seat of all emotions. Your loving heart. Which is expanding all life, which is helping you thrive in life. With its higher vibrations of deep joy, of compassion, of appreciation. Feel, dear friends, connect with your heart center. Bring it into your awareness. Notice it, appreciate it, love it. I want you to breathe life into it. Imagine of an experience where you feel deep joy or compassion, kindness from the vision of your future or from your past or simply in the moment. Smelling a flower, playing with a child, helping people in need, whatever that may be. Live that moment and feel that energy. The more you experience that energy or that emotion, the more coherent you become with all things and everyone. Can you intend to spread this energy onto everything and everyone on this planet, or to those who are in need? When you make that intention, your attention goes and their energy goes there. Where your attention, there your energy goes. You relive that moment and spread that energy to help people heal, to help them elevate themselves to higher understanding. We are all deeply interconnected. Deep inside, we are specks of energy connected with each other intricately, with no separation whatsoever. Kindness, joy, appreciation, love are the ways to become coherent again. Slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation. Put your fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath, dear friends. We are going into powerful group meditation. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. When you observe your breath, your mind slowly becomes less and less of thought. As your mind is becoming empty, you experience greater emptiness, that quantum field of intelligence, the field of energy. As your mind is becoming empty, allow yourself to experience that greater calmness, emptiness of no body, no thing. As the mind becomes empty, all that liberated energy is channelized into the present moment. You become mindful. Your body functions at its natural best. You develop greater clarity and power of thought. Be with your breath. Allow yourself to merge into your breath and allow yourself to experience that emptiness. All emptiness is energy. This is the quantum field of connection. Everyone and everything are connected as energy in this field. The more you stay connected to this emptiness, the more empathetic you become, the more friendly you become. Stay aware of that blackness of no body, of no thing. Merge into your breath. Merge into the emptiness of yourself, your divine self, that greater awareness. The longer the more connected you become, the more one you feel. Friends, at this time, let's express gratitude. Your gratitude to your parents, your teachers, your mentors, your family, friends, colleagues. Everybody in your life, be grateful to this grand nature, the bird, the fish, and the animals. Your gratitude to everything you use, the technology, the system, the government, the companies. Gratitude to yourself and to this intelligent universe. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Recollect your experiences from the session. How did you feel? What did you see? And whenever you're ready, you can keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds, and then you may open your eyes. Okay, dear friends. Hope you enjoy the session. Let me put up a few charts bringing perspective about emotional intelligence and how technically that meditation is helping to manage and develop great intelligence. Emotional quotient that we call is all there is all that is helping us to grow, helping us to connect, helping us to develop friendships. So meditation, and with a quantum physics understanding, we can beautifully recognize that meditation is a great process to develop that emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence in psychology terms is self-awareness, self-regulation or expression, empathy, motivation and inspiration, engagement, social engagement, having a lot of social skills. This is common psychology definition, these words. When you develop all these in all these areas, awareness of where your emotions are, you're able to manage the emotions better. You've got connection, empathetic to others. You have motivation, or you're also motivating. Then there are initiatives that you take, social skills to work with people. When these are all developed, and of course, then we say somebody is highly emotionally intelligent. So clearly, none of them require high IQ. They require something else. And it is all about managing and then seeing what's happening in our emotional brain, the subconscious mind. Emotional brain is a subconscious mind. Mind is thought and emotion. So when you talk about mastering the mind, we can say mastering the conscious mind. When you talk about mastering emotional body or healing emotional body, is about subconscious mind. So IQ is from the conscious mind, EQ is from the subconscious mind, because that's where this emotional center is residing. The amygdala is there. The long-term memory is there. When these two are married together, amygdala, feeling center, long-term memory is the essence of what you are experiencing in life from now and then past. Married together, then there is a whole bunch of behaviors and responses going from there. Now that needs to be developed. So emotional intelligence is normally in these 5 areas. And of course, when you develop them, then you're developing great leadership, developing great relationships. You're providing better decisions. If a colleague comes late to office regularly or is struggling in deliveries, or a student is not able to really be there in a class, it's easy for the manager or the teacher to say and then punish them or say harsh words to them. But an intelligent and empathetic person, an empathetic teacher, manager, is actually taking them out later and then talking to them. What's going on? How come you're not able to sit through the class? How come you are every day notice something different? You're coming late and not able to tell what's going on. You'll get the answer, maybe a tearful response. That something is not going right at home, something is not going right with my health. So an intelligent, emotionally intelligent leader or a teacher or a person or a parent, and of course, he is first acknowledging the feelings and are able to then work out the appropriate solution for the change that they're looking for. And so decision making of what to do with an unruly child or what to do with a non-cooperating individual at work changes because you have a clarity as you work through these great qualities of awareness and empathy. Buddha CEO is fundamentally working for this change in the leadership qualities. We want to have better leaders, leaders who are working with friendship, working with equanimity. Then meditation, of course, as we've been seeing, is naturally already building a lot of calmness into us. The mud in the brain is settling down. All that mud settles down, then we suddenly start seeing things clearly. So all these 95 unwanted thoughts settle down. 95% unwanted thoughts settle down when you meditate. That simple process we did a few minutes a day, that brings so much of clarity of situation. You see through in that water when all the mud settles down. So we see through it. We have a chance to step back. We are very busy attending to all the unwanted things, and so then there's no chance to step back to look at it. So meditation brings that calmness, clarity. Meditation is reducing emotional reactivity. I'll come to that scientifically, how it is reducing that emotional reactivity as the greatest process for building emotional awareness. Now, quantum physics terms, which we understood last week in week 3, the observer effect is there. We said there is this whole field is intelligent, field of intelligence is there, everything energy interconnected. And then when there is an observer that is there, the double-slit experimentation, when an observer is put, then the electron became from energy to matter. So the understanding from quantum physics is that it's all full of possibilities as energy and vibration. And so that emotion is, of course, is an energy state, right? Just yesterday in the map of consciousness, I talked about in some sessions, map of consciousness, and so then high emotions, low emotions. In when we're talking about heart elevation, high emotions, low emotions. And so the emotions are simply energy states, vibrations. And so if you change your vibration, then of course, then you change the reality. Simple. So recognizing its energy science through quantum physics, understanding that it is all energy out there, and then observer is changing the reality, and so then emotions are energy, and so then you change your emotion, the way you respond to situation, of course, then you're changing the reality, right? A simple understanding from quantum physics we do now as energy, and energy changes when the observer is changing the way they look at things. Okay. So the slide from last week, that we understand that everything as energy is one, is not separate, is interconnected. So now this is the other element of it. When everything is energy as one and interconnected, and in meditation every day you experience that connection. And so then that empathy that we're talking about is very, very naturally developed because you experience the connection as everyone as you. It's called spiritual empathy. There is cognitive empathy, there is social empathy, and spiritual empathy. The highest, the spiritual empathy, when it's developed, then you're not doing because it's good, because you're doing because you're doing something to others is because you know that they are and you are the same. The connection is there. It's natural. It's natural, as natural as the fragrance of a flower going around, spreading. Becoming empathetic is natural. So the quantum field, energy is, it's all energy. We're all interconnected as one. And so then we experience that empathy. Then since they're all energy and there are many possibilities and the energy is manipulated to have different outcomes. And so then if emotions being an energy, if they can be changed, and so then outer reality can be changed. So that means you can have great experience in life. So putting these three, dear friends, into perspective, emotional intelligence on one side, meditation on the other side, quantum physics or the science of energy as the another side. I know how many of you remember that water experiment, Masaru Emoto water experiment. He saw water molecules, crystals are complete in disorganized states. When you picked water from a bottle, they've done experimentation in gutter water. By the way, they've also done experimentation for the water from a five-star hotel bottle, by the way. Or rather, that's imported brand from somewhere. Both of them showed disorganized molecules. I mean, let's take that out in five-star hotel, but imported brands from far away. Some of them, not all of them necessarily. Then they've taken water filled from the local springs, the local spring water that is taken from the local springs. Now that water had all these chemicals beautifully, all these molecules beautifully organized into beautiful patterns, geometric patterns. One is that energy is broken, another is the energy is very, very beautifully there together. Crystal, the energy patterns are, the symmetric geometric patterns are there for that water taken from this local spring water, whereas the water taken from the gutter or the water sometimes imported from these brands from far away. And they said, why is this water like this? But then Masaru Emoto was trying to understand the energy science, and then he experimented by saying, I love you. You are helping me. You are great. When you use the words, water changed automatically into a beautifully organized crystals. So the theory was that when these water bottles are imported, carried from port to port to port to port from various means of transportation, if the workers are the energy of the workers, they're also influencing as observers as they carry it from place to place, ship to transport it. And if they don't have any good vibration, so then it's generally spreading and then influencing the water to be in that state. Right. So the point, dear friends, is that it's all energy. And so then when we shift our vibration and we change our emotional states, then of course, then our outcomes change. So meditation is a method. Meditation is building that awareness into us, and so then we are naturally choosing a response than to react to any given situation, right? Emotional intelligence is a natural outcome of meditation. We talked about this, and stress relief is a natural outcome, and health. Mental health is a natural outcome of meditation because you have all these feel-good hormones are produced, so creating some kind of inner joy. So then the validation, then the things that we're going through of the past are naturally go away. Emotional health is also a natural outcome of meditation, and then science of energy, the quantum physics validates it, right? We simply shift a vibration and shift our change of reality. Now, technically speaking, I'd like you to explain and understand this a little bit. So these three brains, technically speaking, how is it happening? What's meditation really doing here, right? And the three brains, here, the human brain, this is the big brain of the neocortex. The human brain is the neocortex. And then the limbic brain, which is the emotional center, the yellow color one. There are two brains for this discussion. These two are, we understand. The human brain, the neocortex. In the neocortex, the frontal side of the neocortex, right, where it's called the prefrontal cortex. And there is an area there which is essentially the prefrontal cortex, this front part of the brain is the CEO of the brain is always has the control to direct things appropriately when events happen in life. Now, this portion, which is the yellow color portion, which houses something called emotion center called amygdala, and typically, this is what is happening. The amygdala is the emotion center in the brain, in the yellow color little brain within that area. It gets hijacked in stressful states. So there are some words here that when ear is hearing, of course, if suppose you have a boss, let's say let's say for a moment, a person at home who is not necessarily very cooperative with you. It could be, anyone it can be. So if the boss is coming at us, charging for whatever reason, charging means coming fast because something had happened, we're very, very irritated. Some escalation is there, maybe there's charging down, saying that, hey, what is there somebody there? Then then ear is hearing that. When ear hears that, then the frontal cortex, the frontal part of the brain, is saying, don't worry, right? Maybe, don't worry, it is okay. It's not too much of a threat. It's just a person walking along with towards you, right? And you interpret who that person is, maybe. First, you're hearing the sound, right? And then there is something here. Then if the person is aggressively doing some gestures, and then your eye is seeing it and saying, oh my God, so this person now is coming fast like this with this gestures, so generally then you immediately react and say, oh, so there may be something really nasty going on here, so that's why it's like this. And then again, the response goes to the CEO of the brain, neocortex, and say, okay, now it tries to do and say whatever is the best way to go through the situation. Intelligent brain, that's the neocortex of the frontal part. In the neocortex, especially the front layer of the brain, is saying, okay, let me think, let's stay calm. It's possible, maybe to stay calm. Then this person, now when your manager is walking too fast to you, as too fast, then at that point, they are to protect, it senses a danger, they are to protect us from, because the brain senses it as a signal that there is something nasty is going on. And so they are to protect at that point. The amygdala, which is emotional center, now suddenly is taking control because it says, I don't have time here for me to think and do, suddenly taking control. And then it has got usually a response. And so then it is doing what it is supposed to do there, what it was used to do there, which is in this case, the person, because the charge manager is coming, wanting to do a nasty thing. So then you are either ready with your defense to, talk about it and actively say something aggressive, or before they even show up, you're just slipping out of the door into a different place. Potentially one of the two things we do, we go away or we confront with our own high emotion. The amygdala, which is there in the subconscious mind, is bypassing any more a natural response. So the amygdala, which is the emotional center in the subconscious mind, when there is no meditation, it bypasses the CEO of the brain, prefrontal cortex, and then gives an unconscious reaction at that point. A reaction that you may be more used to in the past as a behavior. It's not something you want to do. When suppose, and mother-in-law or a daughter-in-law is coming to you with an anger, and then it's not something that you want to react and then pick up a fight. Everybody has a good intention. No one wants to come there. And when you have a boss coming at you charged, you don't want to pick up a fight. But then the behaviorally from the past that what we have stored based on the response and reaction of the bosses in the past or the colleagues. And so we have certain behavior already there to go at it immediately. The moment that colleague opens up in a review meeting, a first word, anything to say with your design methodology, there you go. Before they complete it, our behavior comes back immediately and say, oh, wait a minute. So you're starting with design methodology, definitely is leading to the past things that I've done or not done well. And so it's bringing it up again, trying to put me down. And so we have our own thing, try to cut them off right there before listening. Okay. That's called an automatic behavior from the subconscious. And so that's what happens where even though you have an intention, even though you perhaps you have last time in your discussions, you after the arguments and altercations, you would have thought, no, this is not the way. Let me wait it out. Let me listen to it calmly. And then I can see and then respond. That's perhaps an understanding that you have that you want to implement. But then in the actual situation, you can't because the prefrontal cortex, that response is the nature of this prefrontal cortex, the conscious mind. Whereas the reaction at that point is the behavior coming from the subconscious mind because protected to act instantly. But when meditation is there, and meditation is building their awareness, a part of the brain in the frontal brain, in the cortex, in the neocortex, in the outer brain, the conscious mind, a part of the brain that is responsible for situational awareness is thickened. In research, it is shown that the part of the brain is all this. Since all the conscious mind, research is showing that all the neural elements are getting thickened. Neural circuits are getting thickened in all of the conscious mind areas, in subconscious mind, everywhere. And so the part of the brain which is responsible for bringing awareness, which is sitting right behind this frontal area of the brain, called CEO of the brain, is thickened, and so the situation awareness improves. So it builds awareness, and so then it sort of gives control to this prefrontal cortex, or the CEO of the brain, to provide a conscious response. The conscious response in a situation of a colleague doing a review with you would be to just stay calm, let them complete the sentences fully. And then, if they brought about an old issue, stay calm to not respond to that. Instead, I recognize, I see where you're going, but let's just stay focused on this today's issue. And so you do a calm response of focusing back onto what you are trying to do today, right? Hey, Ram, we can discuss this later. I understand there is an issue there in the past, but let's come back and focus right now here, right? So a calm response that you learned, which you want to give, but that requires that you have the control from this frontal cortex, which is the CEO, which is trying to look at and say, what all choices I have in this situation to respond because my colleague is again going after me, right? And so then you step back and then be able to do when meditation is there, when that awareness is built. It's all about building that awareness, which is part of the development of this conscious mind. The conscious mind is significantly developed with meditation. The neural thickening is happening with meditation. And so then meditation, and then the part of that is that awareness. And so then we have a choice to provide a conscious response. And we have a conscious response where, in a normal state, when that same situation, somebody, a colleague is giving a nasty comment, where your body, the energy changed suddenly because you went into this mode of, I got to protect it. Now here is somebody bulldozing me, or somebody is trying to expose me. And so then your body is into an anger mode, your vibrations change. And so you're really putting a different vibration, which is the law of vibration, or from a quantum physics terms, now is triggering an altered response to the other individual as well. But then with a meditative state, when you are calm, so your vibration is different. You are in the calm mode. You are in empathy mode. Okay, now I understand that person is still maybe feeling insecure, maybe feeling that, no, I'm here going forward in the career, in my organization, in my group, with my better and then slower emotional responses, where he's feeling that he's losing out. And so then it becomes, that's probably, then you become empathetic about his situation. And so then you are stepping back and then making a calm response, an empathy response, which is a different frequency of energy. And so then they too get that observer effect is there. So they also slow down. Wait a minute. Every time I spoke something, Ravi used to shout back, I yell back. Today is being calm here. The brain gets confused. I don't know what to do with it. And so it stays back. And so then the person also looking and then changing. And I do this response a few times like this, automatically your energy rubs onto the other and they also slow down. And so that's how we bring a change. Okay. So meditation is allowing the neural rewiring between amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. As it is developed, thickens the various neural circuits in the brain. And then, of course, meditation is allowing for changing the thought and hence for changing a vibration. How is it allowing to changing the thought? With all this greater understanding we learn here in this program. And then when we go and then, for example, read the knowledge from Conversation with God by Neil Donald Walsh, it's talking about giving freedom to every individual. In my way or your way, no. It's saying that, okay, there are so many ways, so why can't you let everybody be exhibiting their way? So what's the problem? It gives you the understanding, stepping back and say, you are consciousness, they are conscious. You come for your experience, they come for their experience. When it says that, then you suddenly start thinking and saying, why should I restrict how to go to office? There are 10 ways. Why should I say, go this way only? Maybe there is, a 5% increase in fuel efficiency. For that, you push people, you push your family members to do exactly this way. You step back. And it also tells you there is abundance for you. So don't bother about these petty things. Abundance to create. So why are you stuck upon, saving that 5% or whatever? And so then by putting this, you step back and you change the way you react and behave to others, right? So that knowledge, that understanding is required for us to change our thought and so that change our vibration. And meditation is helping us to learn greatly to absorb. Right? We talked about this before. And so then, dear friends, with these two things, as you change, as we listen to stories of successes, as we listen to this higher understanding of spiritual understanding, and then as we are developing that awareness in our physiology speaking, when awareness, the situational awareness is improved through our conscious mind development. And so automatically, we are changing our responses to people. We're automatically developing a lot of empathy as you understand the quantum physics term that you experience every day in meditation. And so you connect better. And so, in summary, that I would like to, and then stop here for today, and then go into the details of what is each and every phase of emotional intelligence is in the next few sessions, and say, how can we change, how can we think differently in a workplace in each of those areas, and then how meditation is helping in each of the areas to be modifying and observing, having a different behavioral states in the next sessions. But in summary, to say that meditation is a greatest process, supported by gratitude, supported by that heart elevation, which is sending that energy to everybody, and as shifting the vibrations are these great processes which are essentially validating quantum physics terms and then are bringing a different reality around us in the way we deal with people and we deal with ourselves. That's emotional intelligence. So thank you very much for joining, and more later in this week as we go along. SJ, Madam, and announcements.
Yes, sir. So friends, today is Monday. We have a book club. Monday and Wednesdays are for book club. And rightly, sir mentioned the book also, which will be discussed today, Conversation with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And morning, we have two batches, morning batch and evening batch, according to the IST time. Morning batch is from 8:15 to 9:15 a.m. and evening it is from 8 to 9 p.m. IST. So please attend these insightful sessions by many senior masters here. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rachel Madam, for that reminder on the book clubs. Hope each one of us who started this journey have bought some books and then began your book reading. all meditation is really, really useful when we enhance our understanding. And these books provide the right understanding, increase understanding of everything. Thank you all. I will see you tomorrow again. And as before, we'll have questions in a short break.
Friends, beautiful topic. One of the biggest revelations for me when I got to understand this, emotions are something that we don't necessarily feel we have a lot of control over. But with meditation, we have a significant understanding and way we respond to our emotions. I hope this helps. Any questions? Or anyone would like to share your experience about managing relationship? Anybody would like to share? You would have seen some change the last 3 weeks as we are practicing. Anybody would like to share? Geetanjali, would you like to share how it has been? Very silent. No questions. Quite surprising. All right. There's no questions or anybody is not ready to share today. Yes, we can end our session today. Yes, Murari. Yes, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. No question, just to share my experience and my sincere gratitude to you, especially. Last time I talked to you, and every day I'm hearing, understanding from you, from the Chandra sir. So far, great experience, great learning, and especially the Sunday session. It's a little longer meditation, and yesterday one manifestations. This is really again the way I understand the meaning of meditations. Again, I understand the meaning of manifestations, because earlier maybe it was the different understanding, but now altogether different experience, different knowledge, something which I unlearned and I learned the new things. So amazing experience, amazing things, sir. Seriously, I am very grateful and blessed, and I can see there is some divine connection, so that me and like me, there are many who are connected with this platform and getting lots of knowledge and wisdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raji. Glad that helped. I'm sure, yes, absolutely. Those manifestation tracks will be very, very useful. So please go and you can use that for everyday practice too. Other than the session that we have, you can always practice that separately. It takes that consistency and commitment to make that change, and I'm sure it's happening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just one question, or quick question related to manifestation. Is it only this means vocal manifestation, or maybe telling in your mind silently, or maybe speaking or something, or is there any scope of the written manifestation as well? Because I started something which is in the form of the written manifestation, so I just wanted to understand. So
Yeah, so manifestation, of course, we create vision board. Vision board would means if you actually take that I program, the course on the app, you actually go through how to create a vision board where you can physically create those images and everything. So the key is to reprogram our subconscious mind, right? So and visualization and the images and movies and everything will always help. But at the core is you have to change your emotions. When either you create an image or you write it or whatever, right? Ultimately, you should bring up the deep, joyous emotions, elevated emotions.
Correct.
So that is the key. So that I manifestation program will give you lot more details into how to create those vision boards. Okay.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that's what I also felt, and actually, technically, I'm not. I have not gone through this vision board, and I have not seen anything. But just based on my internal thought process and the understanding, I also get connections while I do the written manifestation. So I feel the connection. I feel that yes, something which is I'm saying to myself, committing to myself, and also I'm writing the same thing on the piece of paper every day. So
Sure. Yeah, just just be mindful of what you are writing, because it has to be in the present. It has to be our things that it means it's already happened. You don't want to be writing that I will get better. So that means you're always expecting that in future. That means there is an expectation of happening in future, which is what your mind will be trained to. So
I am getting better day by day. I think this is the
Yes.
correct statement. I am getting better day by
I am
day.
getting better. I have already got better. I'm
Yes.
already better.
Yes.
Okay. I've already healed. I'm seeing myself. I'm traveling all over. I'm enjoying my mornings. I'm enjoying every day. These are the statements that you either past or present continuous, what you were want to put in.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, friends. Thank you. And see you again tomorrow.
All is